Welcome to Sankhiya Nishtha Yoga Nishtha chase as Vedic systems chase steps. Brahmrishi Vedvyas has organized Vedic knowledge. The organization of Vedic knowledge is availing Sankhya Nishtha and Yoga Nishtha chase steps. Today, in continuity of the previous session, we shall be face to face with Euro space. In the previous session, our focus has been upon Shunya as a formulation and Shunya as a value. So today, a step ahead, we are going to comprehend Euro space. We are these days acquainted with the dimensional spaces, and of the dimensional spaces, we are primarily concentrating upon three-dimensional space, a space in which there are triple linear axes. When we say it is a dimensional frame of triple linear axes, then our stress is upon axis, line, a one-space body. Means our focus here as a dimensional frame of three space remains upon its axis, and axis are the lines, these are the intervals, these are the one space bodies. That way our focus remains upon one space. So one space in the role of a dimension of three space is a situation with which we are well acquainted. Today, our focus is going to be when the Eurospace body, that is the points as are commonly designated. Points means divide of length, a step ahead of a one space body or one space. So it is in fact a step ahead of one as a value, that means 0 as a value. So essentially we have to appreciate that Shunya means 0 and Eka 1 means 1. Parallelly, we are at the point and a line. It takes us to 0 as a Euro space body, and then it is one space body. Shunya as such is prior to 1, and the Ganita Sutra Eka Adhikain Purve, Eka Adhikain Purve, one more than before. So one is more than Kain, what? One is more than the previous state, that means the Shunya. Now, those who are acquainted with the NVF values of 26 letters alphabet, English alphabet, then the point as a formulation leads us to value 74. Likewise, one line also takes us to value 74. One may have a pause here and see point is what? It is a one line. So there is a structure of a line within a point. However, it is divide of length. Structure within a point is of a line, of one line, complete one line. However, it is divide of a length. That means the line is reducing itself, and ultimately reaching its limit point where the length vanishes. It becomes divide of a line. Therefore, point is structured as a line, point. So, point of a line is having a structure of a line. However, it is divide of a length. So, शून्य गर्भित एक, one is structured within zero. Point is fulfilled with structure of a line. This as such takes us to Shunyam Tattvam, zero as an element. So the sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to be face to face with the Sankhya Nishtha, Yoga Nishtha processing format of the Vedic systems shall visualize and reach at the artifices of numbers parallel to the dimensional frames, and vice versa, the dimensional frames be approached parallel to the artifices of numbers. As far as number value 1 is concerned, and one space is concerned, and one space with interval as its body and line as an axis of a dimensional frame is concerned, it appears to be that we are well acquainted, and it doesn't appear to be any difficulty to comprehend it, that 1 as an artifice of value 1 and 1 as a one space body run parallel to each other. However, when we reach a step prior to the phase and stage of manifestation of value 1 and a one space body, that is to value 0 and to a 0 space, then one may find difficulty, conceptual difficulty, and this conceptual difficulty is going to be because of the mental state created. The education system of ours, or school education as it is, or the concepts on which we are trained in our mainstream discipline of mathematics, takes us always to a 1 as a well-known body, but 0 itself is less known body. Our mental state becomes to take an identity, an object, and associate straight with it a value 1. Therefore, the mental state as it is of ours is not helping us to comprehend a 0 value or a point divide of a length. Point of a line as the smaller length is visualizable by us, but divide of the length at all is not becoming comprehensible, and it is because of a mental state. Today our focus is going to be upon a 0 space. Like one space, 0 is also a space, 2 space is there, 3 space is there. We are well acquainted with the interval, square, and a cube. And then we take it not difficult to reach at that here all the 3 axes are available to us. A step before, pair of axes are available, and even step before, single axis is available. But if we want to go a step prior to this phase and stage, then there will be an absence of an axis like first axis, second axis, and third axis of a 3-dimensional frame, then the difficulty arises. For it, we can see that if we can associate value 1 to any object, then let us take point also is an object. Once point divide of length is an object and still accepts association of value 1, then we will start melting our mental state as we are associating 1 to value 0, and 0 is also having association with value 1. For those who want to transcend this mental state and those who begin with 1 and want to reach at 0, then first phase and stage is that should start reducing the line, and once the line smaller and smaller length goes to be, and take it as a limit, there happens to be a point, so line becomes a point, so value 1 becomes a value 0. However, we know this point is having a structure and this structure is of a line, therefore this point as value 0 because of divide of a length is certainly not a Euro space. Euro space is where there is no structure, we can't even comprehend that. We are availing 0 as a limit reach for reduced infinitesimal smaller and smaller length, but length remains. We want to reach a stage when there is no length. So let us see, when we say 1 and we write it 1 raised to power 1, and then when we will have a pair of x's, we will write it 1 raised to power 1 and 1 raised to power 1, it will give us raised to 1 raised to power 2. Therefore, here 1 is a unit length and here 1 will reach at a unit area. Likewise, when we will be having all the triple axes and there will be unit values for each axis, and these together as 1 raised to power 3 will give us a unit volume. However, if we have a pause here and readdress ourselves as to this length because of single axis, when is to be comprehended in the context of the setup of a square of a pair of axes, where when here we are getting area and here we remain only up to length. A step ahead we reach at a volume. So one way to look at would be that length is a single unit, however length is a Euro area. Likewise, here it is a single area unit, however it is a Euro volume. Therefore, 0 and 1 in this context of this illustration will help us have an idea as to what is going to be a situation of comprehension when we are availing 0 and 1 as values. But the real challenge for us is how we shall melt our mental state and we should reach at a Euro space. So when we are reaching at volume and we want to look back at area, so if we are at area and we want to look back at the length, likewise we shall conceive of a prior situation where there is no length at all. Here is no volume, here is no area, here is no length. But this is just a mathematical tool, a mathematical format, a mathematical chase in terms of which we want to conceive Euro space. So Euro space, like all other spaces, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, is a space. Once it is a space, then it will be having its dimensions, it will be having its bodies, and then there will be its own units. So body, units, mass content, dimensional frame, all those things will be associated and would be available, and we have to conceive, we have to comprehend, we have to chase, we have to multiply, we have to work them out. For any space, there happens to be a space content. Now, what is that content of a Euro space? The content of one space is giving us length. The content of two space is giving us area. The content of three space is giving us volume. So, that content of a Euro space, which will not be giving us length, area or volume, will get a Euro space body. And Euro space body as such will be having its dimension, its boundary, its domain, as well as its origin. Now, length or a one space will be playing the role of an origin of a Euro space. Let us sit comfortably and let us revisit this formulation शून्य गर्भित एक. One is inherently placed within Euro. One space is inherently established within Euro space, playing the role of an origin. One space is playing the role of origin of a Euro space. See, we are having a square. Its origin is 3 space because it is hypercube 2, and hypercube 2 means 0, 1, 2 and 3. Means it is a fourfold setup where 3 space is playing the role of an origin of a 2 space, and 2 space is the domain because of which there is an area, and here 1 space is a boundary. We know that our square is enveloped, our surface is enveloped within a boundary of 4 lines. Therefore, the 2 space body as such is having 3 space as an origin and 1 space as a boundary, and Euro space is the dimension. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to have comprehension of Euro space playing its role as a dimension, they shall revisit, be face to face with the setup of a 2 space body, hypercube 2. Hypercube 2 is a representative regular body of a 2 space, and its origin is 3 space, domain itself is 2 space, the boundary is 1 space, and dimension is a Euro space. Like that, with respect to any body of n space, we know that n space body is having 4 folds. First fold is a dimension, it is of value n minus 2. Then it is having boundary, it has a value n minus 1. Then is a domain, its value is n. Then is an origin, its value is n plus 1. Let us take n is equal to 3. So here we will be having 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we know cube is the representative regular body of a 3 space. Here 3 space content is manifesting the domain, which provides us a volume. So volume is because of a 3 space content. So value 3, the domain, value 3 is leading us to its volume. Now value 2, it is leading us to a surface, and we know this cube is enveloped within a 6 surface plates. So 2 space is playing the role of a boundary here, and further we know that we require triple axis That means one space is playing the role of a dimension here. Then we also know that this cube splits into 8 subcubes parallel to the split of 3 space into 8 octants. So it is here at this center, at the meeting point of the triple axis, there happens to be a split for a cube, and this split for cube results into 8 subcubes. It is a 4-space seat of a 4-space which is enveloped within a solid boundary of 8 components. As far as n is equal to 3 is concerned, it is not difficult to comprehend distinctively all the 4 folds of the setup of a cube, hypercube 3, the representative regular body of a 3 space. However, when we will go to n is equal to 2, the situation would be that we will be reaching at 0, 1, 2 and 3. Now square a representative regular body of 2 space, a hypercube 2, as far as the value 2 is concerned, which is responsible for the domain providing us an area. It is conceivable, comprehensible very easily. Further, as far as the value 1 is concerned, we know that square is enveloped within boundaries. It is having a frame, and this frame is of a 4 lines. One space is playing the role of a boundary. But other 2 features, as far as the 0 as a dimension is concerned, and origin, solid as origin is concerned, for some it will become a difficult. Sadhkas shall sit comfortably and be face to face with the structural setup of a square by having distinct appreciation of the quadruple folds dimension, how the Euro space is playing the role of a dimension, one space is playing the role of a boundary, 2 space is playing the role of a domain, and 3 space is playing the role of an origin. And a step ahead, when we're going to n is equal to 1, so it will be taking us to -1, 0, 1 and 2. As far as value 1 is concerned, it is very easy for us, because of our mental state, to accept it that this interval line which provides us a length is in fact the domain fold, and it is because of a one space content. As far as the 0 value is concerned, here becomes conceivable, as we can see there are a pair of endpoints. Here are a pair of endpoints. However, as far as there is a role of -1 space as dimension, that is not apparently visible, but when we have a orientations change from one end point to another point and from second point to the first point, then we see it is this difference of a pair of orientations which will bring in -1 vis-a-vis +1. So +1 becomes a domain and -1 becomes a dimension. Let us have a pause. No, let us have a visit to this 5x5 grid. This 5x5 grid, as it is having a northeast diagonal where the value remains 0, a constant value is there. See that this 5x5 grid, with respect to the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and the fifth row. When we are at the fifth row, then we see this gives a value 0, 1, 2, and 3. See these quadruple values. 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. These are these are the quadruple values 0, 1, 2 and 3. These quadruple values are of hypercube 2 square 2 space body. And if we reach from the 5th row to the 4th row, then we see we are reaching at the quadruple values -1, 0, 1 and 2. This is the value of hypercube 1. It is this value which will help us appreciate that here Eurospace is playing the role of a boundary, and here the Eurospace is playing the role of a dimension. Step ahead, when we are at 3rd row, then Eurospace is playing the role of a domain. It is this space when we have the values -2, -1, 0 and 1. Here Eurospace is the domain. It is the representative regular body of a Eurospace with Eurospace as a domain. And one space is playing the role of an origin. Boundary is -1 space and the dimension is -2 space. Therefore, we are now sequentially reaching at the opposite orientation for a plane. Here is +2 and here is -2. It is this feature of Euro. Therefore, synthesis of Euro order as dimensions becomes the central theme. If there is a single dimension of Euro order, the value remains 0. However, when there are a pair of dimensions of order 0, the value becomes 2. The triple dimensions of Euro order give us value 6. Quadruple give us value 12. And penta give us value 20. In this context of synthesis of order of Euro order dimensions, when go to the split of a Euro domain, now it is here where really the Vedic system's excellence is coming into play. Now if we are having a domain, means Eurospace as a domain, means Eurospace content is manifesting, then this is having a single entity. However, when there will be split, it will be a pair of streams, pair of folds, and each fold will be of dimensional order -2. At the next phase, we will be having 5 streams, and these would be of order -4. At the next step, we will be having as many as 12 streams of order -6, and the next step is going to be that we will be having as many as 29 folds of order -8. If we go a step ahead, then we will be having as many as 70 streams and of order going to be -10. It is this reach of the split of the domain of a Euro order. It is this range of tabulation of values of synthesis of Euro order dimensions. And here in this 5x5 grid, we are having a Eurospace in its different roles as dimension, as boundary, domain, then origin, and ultimately as the base. These are the features of Eurospace which deserve to be comprehended well, and it is in this context that we shall revisit the formulation Shunyam, which has taken us to value 18, parallel to the fourfold manifestation layer of hypercube 5. A step ahead, when we were having a transcendence for the formulation Shunyam for its first syllable at the vowel elongated third vowel, and in the second syllable at the first vowel, then we had reached that value 25, which is of a transcendence range 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. It is this way that Eurospace is being chased by the Vedic systems as a dimensional space like all other spaces. Let us sit comfortably and let us have a revisit for these formulations these features of a Euro space. Let us make a specific note that it is not that Euro is only being availed for the purposes of a 10 place value system. It is being availed for all place value systems. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to have an appreciation of the role of a Euro as a place value, then one shall first reach at 9 cross 11 grid for double digit numbers of 10 place value system and see how the grid is splitting itself into an upper part and a lower part, and here becomes a mirror line. And then both the upper part and the lower part are also leading us to the imposition of a grid with a mirror. It is this imposition of a mirror in the upper part and likewise the imposition of a mirror in the lower part. Therefore, the system leads us to a situation where there happens to be the recognition of the mirrors in the artifices of numbers. These mirrors in the artifices of numbers is the insight of the Vedic system. It is the reach of the Vedic system, and it is happening only because of Euro playing the role of a place value. Now, likewise, if we shift to a 6 place value system, then again we will see how there happens to be a division in the upper part and the lower part, and how the artifices of numbers are accepting imposition of the mirrors, reflection mirrors. It is this feature, because of the value Euro, which deserves to be recognized well. The modern system, the modern mathematics, the modern approach of modern number theory, modern set theory, and modern algebras, as these are somehow missing these features of the values of the numbers, which accept, which get regulated, which are coordinated, which are arranged as the arrangement through the looking mirrors, through the mirrors. Therefore, these artifices of the numbers in terms of a place value system, in terms of a value Euro, in terms of a Euro space, are having acceptance of organization parallel to the organization within the rays of the sun as a feature of a light which reflects itself, which gives us the looking mirrors. So mirrors, light, reflection, and the organization of the artifices of numbers and the dimensional frames, everything gets unified. This unification is there only because of a Euro space, only because of a Euro value, only because of a formulation Shunyam. Therefore, Shunyam deserves to be taken up as Tattva, and the TC value of Shunyam is 27, N of Tattvam is equal to 30, which is parallel to the value of Prarabdha and Prarambha. As such, we see that the Vedic systems are successful to unify the artifices of numbers on the one hand with the dimensional frames, and the other in terms of the flow, transcendental flow within rays of the sun. It is this unification which is at the base of the conclusion Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande, Yatha Brahmande Tatha Pinde. From this phase and stage, we will be proceeding ahead in the next session, when we shall be appreciating the unification process and unification attainment of the Vedic systems. Thank you very much.